Hello everybody! The goal of this course is to reach a perspective of the work inspections we must follow in a construction process in order to get the quality in building. That's the content, but today's topic is going to be focusing flat roofs. I would like to show you the main activities we must check during the project management and its construction of this unit, and also I would like to show you the correspondence between the diamond circle principles and the construction stage. If we think about the plan, do, check, act, and we make the corresponding between project management, the work construction site, the activities we check during its construction, and the report we prepare in case of find any non-conformities or failures, we can have or reach a highest level of quality. In the project details, we will find the specifications for our building. Remember, the buildings are not standard products, so we need to check, supervise all the specifications in each case in order to have the control. In this picture, you can see how the whole surface of our roof is divided in units in order to be checked and be supervised during the construction in a different stage with a different reports. Roofs are the skin and the surface, horizontal surface in our buildings, so are going to be the elements who protect our whole building. So if we think about we have flat roofs or pitch roof, we have to be open-minded because in fact between the both systems we have a different solutions depending on the designers and the providers of our materials. In this detail we can see a horizontal surface in the structure who is holding in the flat roof. Right here you can see the position of the drainage system for the waterproof drainage, and of course several sheets that are composing our roof in order to resolve the isolations and waterproof requirements in our flat roofs. The materials reception should find and should respond all the requirements who are actually mandatory in the materials in the constructions. So, notified bodies are responsible to certify if the materials are following the mandatory specifications from the CE mark and the actual directive from the construction products. Previous operations of the preparatory need to check the prior unit. If the element who is supporting or are the basis for our flat roof is completely finished and all the certifications are coming from the results from the concrete or so on are okay, we are on time to start with our roof construction. Here we can see how the boundary is making the limit or the perimeter area of our roof, and in the inside area we have divided it in 3 units. Each unit will have their own specifications, their own checklist. Inside of that we can start with the stakeout, just trying to hold all the slope to the drainage system and to the drain pipe. During the stakeout we used to use the same materials that in the future we will use in the construction of the roof, the flat roof. Right here you can see the connection between the horizontal structure, the facade, which seems to be ceramic brick facades, and the units we are dividing the whole surface on. At the time in the stakeout we use the same mortar or bricks that are going to configure the future slope in our roof. During the slope we can use a lot of materials depending on the specifications and the characteristics from our providers. In this case we are using this mortar. This mortar has a chemical additives with bubbles inside that reduce the final load and led to us to create the slope from the shortest point to the highest one. During the slope also we have to check if the standing is well down with electrical one or a hand tool in order to keep the surface and also close all the possible small holes we can have it, because if not, it will be not easy to moisturize and keep the moisturizing in our mass. In the slope also we can use elastic materials that will help to the unit to have a little bit dilatance, a little bit movement. In this case we can see in the boundary areas a piece of polystyrene that are making the perimeter, the boundary of the unit at the time is letting in future the movement of the unit. During the slope also we have to be careful if all the inclinate if the position and the final surface is with the distance, the size, and the inclination, the slope we need and are defined in the project. When we are finishing the basis, we are ready to start with the other sheet that will compose our flat roof. In this case, we have to check if the connection between these bases are well done with the boundary area of the facade. At the time, in the finishing basis, we have all the drawing very well protected and is in use. The joints between another building services has to be checked also. In this picture, we can see how the chimneys where different building services are going to run are protected with these polystyrene pieces that will let the movement and will not crash the chimney and the elements who are inside the cover between the pressa from our mortars. When the basis is completely finished, it's now time to start with the waterproofing. Different solutions of the flats can make a modification between the time and the order of each sheet. Sometimes we can start with the waterproofing and then the isolations, and depending on the system and the materials, we can also make the inversion of that. In this picture, we can see how the waterproofing is just covering the joint, which is a critical point at the time the sheets are coming in the other side. Waterproofing also can be fixed with hot or with special machines that will help to us to join in the corners and the borders of the boundary areas in our roof. After that, we have to cover the whole surface and keep clean all the area in order to protect the waterproof sheet. Because if we have any gravel, dusty, or any element like a pin or something like that, we can make a hole and make the future damage. If we have a damage in the waterproof system, of course, we will have humidity and problems inside the building. During the waterproofing, also, we have to check the mandatory and the specifications from the standards. In this case, we have to review if the minimum distance between the bases and the connection with the vertical boundary made with bricks or made with concrete, depending with the element is defined. In all cases, we have to keep the minimum distance and just fix it, match it with a small line where the waterproof is going to be in. During the waterproofing, also, we have to open mind depending on the system we are using. This picture is showing us a LPDM sheet. This sheet is a very self-sufficient, a very good quality sheet barrier that protects the building. But the way to fix it in the cover is completely different. It's free, it's not fixed. Only the boundary areas are fixed with a special resin that glue and join and mix this sheet into the whole surface. Only building services areas and the boundary are fixed. The intermediate area can have this kind of bubbles or area because it's not fixed in the middle. In the waterproofing also, when we use self-sufficient sheets, we have to keep the area and join if every slope is completely well done. In the case to protect the drainage system or the dilatant joint in the building, we have to use special pieces also in the drain position where the drainage system is gonna collect the whole water. When waterproof is finished, it's time to make a test. A notified laboratory should be the responsible to certify if our roof is working well and we can not have any problem in the future inside in our building. If the result is right, if we are lucky with the result and with construction, it's time to start with the isolations. Isolation can come directly with these sheets, and we will use this geotextile. This is a nylon sheet that keeps each sheet in a different stage. But we can also use prefabricated systems with a kind of sandwich system that the pieces help to us to have the camera, the isolation. At the time, we can create a pavement surface. In this picture also, we can fix it directly, and these pieces, this pavement are going to respond to the isolation demand and to the future pavement for future use in pedestrian areas. In other cases, when we don't need to use it directly, we can use a gravel area, which is very good for the future maintenance because we can remove it and we can just take it out if we need to repair any area. The final cover also can be with a very traditional pavement fixed with mortar directly up to the geotextile sheet, which is separating from the waterproof system and the isolations. In the final cover, we can also use special pieces with this joint that will keep us from the water and all the future humidities, and covering finishing in the surface of the facade where the roof is joining the facade. In the final check, we will supervise all the sheets or the elements that are composing our roof, and if everything is right, everything is well checked, and the result is okay, it's fine, we are on time to enjoy our cover. Thank you very much for your attention.